So I've had the opportunity to be in two different romantic abuse dynamics, and they're actually very different. And so I kind of just wanted to go over the patterns between them because they're really quite interesting. So the first one was with my child's father. We were married for, I'm fired, 14 years, 15, 14, one of those. And we got married when I was 23, and he's 10 years older. And I waited to have a kid because I was like, I want to enjoy my relationship with my partner and have like a really strong foundation. And it's going to be, that way when we finally decide to expand our family, if we decide to do that, we're going to be like rock solid. I was just like, I'm doing exactly the right thing. This is going to be the best. I have all the answers. I had a personal development blog when I was in my 20s. I was like, I know things. And then I had my baby, and I had my 30s, and it was just like the universe decided to teach me that I don't. Like, you don't know what you think you know. Anyway, so things have kind of been swimming along. Honestly, pretty well. Like, looking back, I go, oh, okay, there were some indicators. But for the most part, he and I, we got along really well, really compatible. Not really a lot of fights. Every once or twice a year, he might do something dumb, and I'd be upset about it, and then I was done, and we were fine again. We were a pretty boring couple, quite frankly. We'd go places to eat and hang out at home. I watched a lot of Law and Order. I really like that show. Not SVU, because that's too, I can't, 2 episodes of that, I'm good. That's too much. But for some reason, regular Law and Order, I'm about that way. Anyway, so we have our son, and at the time I had him, I was working, I was freelancing, so I could set my own schedule, and I kind of, I worked at my own pace, and I could go into the office whenever I wanted. It was a baller. I love that. And I have my son, and I go back to work after 2 weeks, and I'd bring him into the office with me because I could set my own schedule. So I'd go in at 8 p.m. And he'd be in his little carrier, and I would he'd be napping, I'd be working, and if he woke up, I'd take care of him, put him back to bed. It was great. And then his father goes, back to work from paternity leave after 6 weeks, and then my contract ends, and I decide I don't want to be in this field anymore. I don't like the people who work in this field. I'm tired of it. I'd like to go into the nonprofit field. I want to make a difference. So I spent the next I want to say 4.5 years getting told no by the universe, and I wasn't listening. Because I sent out hundreds of resumes, nobody. So I accidentally ended up as a stay-at-home parent, still actively looking. I pick up a couple of jobs here and there. I spent 8 months, for example, working a call center overnight. I thought, I'll do this at night, and then I can take care of my son during the day. And it was the day I quit was the day, I think it was 2 at this point. He was trying to wake me up. I was exhausted. He's waking me up in the morning. He's pushing me, and he's like, "Mama, milk, mama." And I was just like, oh, no. I can't, my baby. This is, what's the point of staying home to take care of him if I can't even, I can't do it, and I'm exhausted. I don't remember anything, and, So, there's a marked difference. So, in a lot of abuse literature, they talk about how big life changes will trigger abusive patterns of behavior from certain abusers, and that was what this relationship was. And what it is that there are expectations, often unvoiced, maybe even subconscious expectations that the abusive partner has towards the other partner. And so in this case, it was a combination of 2 things. First was that my decade older husband had this template of, dad doesn't really, all dad has to do is like, dad doesn't raise the kids, dad just has to like show up every once in a while. Like he can do what he wants. So he had this like weird 50s perspective on it, but also one where it wasn't like, oh, but I like want you to stay home. It was, I want you to be the primary caregiver, and I'm not the main responsible person for our child. But also, he wanted me to work. So we had, again, when we have like these subconscious, ideas and beliefs and like desires, especially this one in particular, these are two beliefs that are kind of at odds. Like, I don't want to be the main person. I have like kind of a outdated, older version of what I think parenting looks like. But also, I don't want you to be dependent on me. Okay, we're not a financial team. We operate independently. And I don't respect you if you're not an independent woman making your own money. So, he started doing stuff, and I was like, I'm so confused right now. We're married. You're my partner. What's happening here? And then I get a job. Like, I was working at the call center, and then he was like nice again. And then like I quit that job, and like suddenly he's not nice again. And I just was like, what is happening? I don't, it took me a while to put that one together. So he and I have a very good relationship right now. It's very cordial. Like, honestly, if you have to co-parent with a divorced person, with a divorce, like with your spouse, ex-spouse, I guess, it's a pretty solid situation. Like, I'm lucky in a lot of respects, because he does have that chauvinistic view towards parenting. He often does let me lead on what I think is best for our son. So, for example, when I was like, oh no, we should change custody, he was like, okay. Like, I don't know that he actually wanted intrinsically to do it, but he went along with it. So, I mean, that's fine. And he's approached me. So I've been working at my job for a little over 3 years now. And, so I'm an independent woman again who doesn't need him. And, he's, and he's also out there dating, and, the odds of him getting another lady who's 10 years younger than him are, getting, like, where he thinks he's at in the dating world and, like, his pool of actual available ladies are two different places. So I just kind of, I want to be supportive because I want him to be happy. But at the same time, I'm like, if you hadn't been dumb, we'd still be married. Because I was like, I don't want to get divorced. I'm getting married for life. Like, that's it. I'm, check that in my 20s, check that off my list. I've met my partner. We're going to be in a nursing home together. We're going to take care of each other in our old age. And I was really shocked and traumatized when all of this started happening, because in my mind, we were partners, and that meant something very specific. And it wasn't like I hadn't communicated that to him, but when the other person is not maybe necessarily as on a level of self-awareness, let's say, then doesn't matter how much you communicate because they're not coming from a place of self-information. So anyway, he kind of approached me about, like, would I ever, so basically he's like, no, I'm never going to get married again, unless it's to you. And I was like, don't hold out for that. It ain't going to happen. And the thing is, I very much could see how someone could go, without realizing kind of like the dynamics, how someone could go, oh no, they're better now. They're safe to be with again. I still have feelings. And then get back into a relationship. But I know what it is. I know, now I'm an independent lady and I don't need him. So any way he shows up and I'm like, oh, yay, good for you. He doesn't have to show up 50-50 or everybody's putting in 100 or whatever like equation you want to put on it. And that's just, I'm not about that life anymore. So the answer is no. But I'm glad that I've done enough reading that I know that that's not, that I never got back into that. Even if I had been. So, with everything that happened, I very much lost my attraction. Like, my attraction for somebody is based on, how I feel about them, their heart and whatever. It doesn't matter what they look like. So when when everything happened, I lost my attraction for him hard. Like, it's gone. It is dead in the dirt, done. So that's the one relationship. So like we're super cordial now, and we're friendly, even friends. I feel very comfortable with kind of like where we're at. We're a team. We're co-parenting, and like sure there are things I don't agree with, but I'm being flexible, learning how to do that. So my other relationship was very different. I saw red flags like right away. I immediately, like within, I want to say like 2 weeks, was trying to like cut stuff off. But so you gotta imagine, I'm running an anti-abuse subreddit. I'm posting stuff every day, and I'm going, oh, that's what's going on. My brain was like, you should not be with this person. Red flag, red flag, red flag. And for him too, I guess he felt like there were red flags. I think my take on it though is more like maybe red flags for not great relationship habits, not red flags for abuse. He might disagree with me on that. He probably does. That's okay. But I straight up was like, oh no, this is, I am noticing, and I am trying to leave, and woo boy, oh man, once your feelings get involved, it is so hard. Like the pulling apart with my ex-husband was easy. I was mad all the time, especially with how he was treating our son, like I was not in any kind of, like, I was not feeling pulled. But this particular individual, I didn't want to walk away. I wanted to want to walk away, but I did not want to walk away. And so, like, I would see the red flags, and I'm like, oh, let me talk. Maybe if I talk to him about it. Like, I went into that relationship in my full power of, like, I don't know, if something doesn't work, just be done, leave, whatever. And no, like, I was emotionally hooked in a way I've never experienced in my entire life. Not before, and I probably won't ever. It just absolutely, I was doing stuff I didn't recognize. He would do things that are like, I would go, oh, that's like right on the list. So hoovering is a big thing. So I'd like try and break up with him, and then he'd send me like this epic email of his feelings and how he wanted me to understand that, like, at least one person out there loves me with all of their heart, and I'd get this email, and I was like, oh my god, my feelings. Or the time that so my favorite flower is a clover flower. I don't know if you've ever looked at them, but like architecturally they're so interesting, and I love them deeply. And so he spent, like, another time we'd broken up, he had spent like an hour or two in a field gathering up hundreds of them, and then he left them on my doorstep in the shape of a heart. And I made everyone walk around it for like 2 weeks. Like, I didn't want to bring it in the house, and I didn't want to like take responsibility for it, but at the same time I just, like, it still really touched my heart. Some of the lawn people came by and they blew it away. I was really upset about it, but at the same time, there was the time he came back to me. We have this amazing day, and then the other girl shows back up, you know, he would talk to me about having bad boundaries, but like he did not. Terrible, terrible. He let this girl show up. He doesn't make her leave. He doesn't protect, like, okay, I've made the decision now to be back with this other person. He lets her talk him back into a relationship with her, like over a period of 3 hours or something. And then suddenly he's gone. And I'm literally like, I mean, I was on the phone. He's like, she's on her way over. And I was like, oh, no, you're supposed to be with me. Like, you made this. What are you doing? Like, I'm coming over. And he's like, no, you can't come over because, like, she doesn't listen to the word no. Which, big sign, dumb. This is not a person. That is a good person to be with. But also dumb to me because he wasn't a person who listened to no. So it's like, I was getting, like, mirroring hardcore, you know, about my own, like, she's bad for you for reasons that you're bad for me. Just very special learning experience. Anyway, so he gets back with her, and then it's my birthday, and he leaves me this, like, I love rocks, I love, like, crystals, I'm a weirdo, I love nature stuff and, like, sticks and things. Anyway, so he brings me the big version. Like, it was huge. It was just absolutely freaking huge. Like, it was, like, heavy as heck. He brings over a big version of an amethyst geode. And it's, like, everything that I've ever wanted. I love that shit so hard. And he had just left me for this person and then leaves this crazy, amazing gift that I would have loved so much. That, by the way, he didn't give me right before, right around Thanksgiving, or not Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day. So I was also mad because what he gave me for Valentine's Day, I'm sorry, was, like, not even remotely. Like, what the fuck would you give this shit for Valentine's Day? What? I was just mad all the way around. Anyway, so so he's back with this person, but he's leaving me some amazing shit. I was like, what? I tried giving it back to him, and then he was like, she's gonna make me throw it away, and it's like, you're a fucking grown person. Like, what do you do? And again, I mentioned this in another video. She was 20. She was 20 when this was going on. He'd grown. He was like 30. I want to say 32. Yeah. He was 32. Like, just really. I look back and I'm just like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever. I mean, just high school drama all the way around. Oh, she got my number out of his phone, and then kept calling me, especially when I was at work. And I'd be like, she's not safe. She's not a safe person. He's like, oh, she doesn't, like, she's harmless. Like, to you, motherfucker, maybe, but not to me. Like, I got anxiety now every time I look at my fucking phone, and I'm like, I gotta answer. And he's like, well, don't answer it, and it's like, I don't know if it's about my kid. And also, I shouldn't have to fucking worry about that shit. Like, that's not okay. The best part is, guys, she's decided to be a transformational life coach. And she has her own, like, website and Facebook and Instagram. And she's, like, on real hard on branding. And she's, like, putting together, like, little, like the kind of charty type things, like the visual manifest your future affirmations. And the thing is, I can't really, again, I was in my 20s with a personal development blog thinking I knew all the answers. Like, I can't. Now, don't get me wrong, like, what she did was not okay. She also apparently has, like, bipolar. Like, that was part of her platform as a beauty queen contestant, was, like, to run on mental health awareness. So, like, there was a point at which she texts me from one number, but it was blocked. So she texts me from another, or she calls me from one number and then calls me from another, and then just texts me. And she's like, oh, it was an accident. I was like, girl, you need to contact your mental health person. And she's like, Imba, that's a really nasty thing to say. And I'm like, no, girl, I'm serious. Like, please contact your people. That's what they're for. Like, yo, take your meds, contact your mental health person. Like, I am not the person to when you feel that feeling, don't call me. Don't contact me. I have made it very clear that you should not be contacting me at all. It is not okay. That is, like, speaking of bad boundaries. And she just like wouldn't stop. Anyway, so now she's married. However, I'm not like, whoo, safe, because you never know. You never know what'll trigger something. Especially like if the marriage maybe isn't going well, and she like reaches back out to Maya, and like there's all that mess going on. And I'm very much in a place of like, no, I'm a grown person. This is high school. This is high school drama. Even when I was in high school, quite frankly, I wasn't calling someone's ex or partner, like whatever, when he was with me, or when he was with her, when he was cheating on her, or actually, no, he never cheated on her with me, because I absolutely, if I had any inkling that they were together, I was like, no, we don't, no. But she did actively, like, but again, that's like, that's on him. That's not on her. He made those bad choices after lecturing me ad nauseum at the beginning of our relationship about how easy it was to cheat, and how he's afraid I would cheat on him or meet someone else and leave him. So a lot of that was, very interestingly, turned out to be what he did. Again, last video wasn't about me. I don't do that. Never done it before. Never gonna do it. I actually have really strong boundaries when it comes to being in a relationship, and not entertaining exes, because I don't play with that shit. Like, if I'm committed to you, I'm committed to you all the way. So anyway, that's definitely two very different relationship dynamics, and I learned a lot. I don't whatever's happened with my son's father is done. Like, we're now in the like co-parenting, we grown stage, everything's fine, very cooperative, just and lovely, like, honestly. I don't feel like things are quite done with my ex. I have made it very clear, but like, I made it very clear, like, do not show up, do not leave me things, do not contact me, do not do any of this. I am stopping this cycle. Like, we're not doing this again. And frankly, I don't deserve it. Like, he was doing nonsense from the beginning. I didn't deserve any of it. And I got so turned around, and I lost my sense of like what's real. I was like, is it me? Is it him? What's happening? And gosh, my therapists and my psychiatrist and my friends and mutual friends, were like, what do you know? Don't do this. Don't do this. There are other people out there. So, I'm still kind of on edge, with that situation. Like, I feel like it's out there. But I am in a really strong place now. I know what I know. I'm strong in myself. And I don't have to let him in my door. I don't have to. If he shows up and says, oh, I want to talk about things, and I have an apology, and, or maybe he wants to talk about like how I've done things wrong, whatever. It's like, hey, you are more than welcome to your experience of your perception of reality. But I'm good. I reached like a really good place. I don't need to work this out with you. That's your work to do. I'm happy. I do think about him. I don't think that he's like happy. Unless he's like changed kind of his negative, critical, judgmental, projecting, ego stuff, trying to make himself feel better with people's attention, maybe narcissistic supply. But I'm good, He once told me, he was like, what was it? It was like, you make people think you're warm and inviting, and it's a cover-up for your mental health issues. And it's like, I didn't drag him from one room to another to continue to beat him. That's not a thing that I did. And a lot of where I was at mentally in our relationship really can be attributed to his behaviors, or the fact that I was getting out of like a bad situation. And I'm not in a bad situation now. I'm doing great. I love my life. It's such a good place to be, and I'm not coming from a energy where I hate, where I hate my ex-husband or where I hate my ex-abusive partner. Like, y'all live your lives. I'm living mine. I'm doing me. It's great. But it took a lot to get here. It took a lot of work. It took a lot of therapy and patient-ass friends who just were probably watching me make the same mistake over and over again. Just like watching, you're watching the horror movie unfold. And the thing is, like, I've been that person watching someone make choices, and you're like, no, what are you doing? You're in a horror movie. Don't go in the basement. Stop it. Get in the car and leave. But when you're feeling so emotionally attached to somebody, that's like an incredibly hard thing to do. And I'm not detached from him emotionally at all. Like, I'm still in this place of like, I love him deeply, but I was able to transmute that instead of I love him deeply and I need to have him to I love him deeply and I don't need to have him. I bless him. I want him to be happy, and maybe one day I'll move on to a point where I don't have like such a strong emotional attachment to him, but today is not that day. But at least I was able to transform it into something that allowed me to be safe and protect myself, protect my family, and honestly, like, just stop the nonsense. Like, high school shit is exhausting. It's exhausting, y'all. Like, the stalker situation I have, like, oh my God, like, how much energy does it work, mental and emotional, to like put yourself into that? It's like, life's too short. Life's too short. We just need to be having a great time. Or not a great time, but just like in our power, making really great choices for ourselves, or feeling like we're, doing the best we can. So anyway, thank you for joining me this evening, and I will see you next time.